producers of the film. From Epic Media, we have Mr. Bradley Liew, Miss Patricia Lapus, and of course, one of the stars of NOCEBO, Miss Chai Fonacier. Film. Yan, sige. Chai, any words before we start?
Ayun lang, what did you think of the I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions about what we all just did here, please go ahead.
Yan. Okay, we have our first question here from Matthew Perez.
Hello, Chai. Matthew Perez from the Daily Tribune.
Hi.
I would like to know, what was it like working or acting alongside Eva Green and Mark Strong?
It was I don't know. Sometimes when I think about it, it still feels surreal that I was in the same room with them. During rehearsals, I would forget that I'm part of the scene because it's such a joy to watch them work, you know. And then I just watch it and I go, oh shit, it's my turn. I have to go in. So I don't know what the word for that is, but it's that kind of shit. They're in the same room with me. What the fuck?
Is it kind of like, I don't know, an out-of-body experience? Would you say
Yeah.
it's kind of like that?
Yeah, kind of, because before I was invited to audition for this film, and before I even knew that, you know, this project ever existed, a week before I auditioned, I was geeking out with my friends on Eva Green's performance in Penny Dreadful.
Yes.
And we were geeking out on it, just dissecting that scene with my friends and going, oh my god, how did she do this? This is essentially 4 characters in one scene. Holy Lord, this is like a, you know, that kind of just, you know, nerding out, geeking out about it, about acting. And then a week later, I get the call for the invite to audition, and then Bianca says, oh, you're acting alongside Eva Green, and I'm like, what? I wish you didn't attend me because now I'm panicking. You know?
Okay. I can imagine. I can imagine, you know, the dread.
Yeah.
It's a good kind of dread, though. You know?
It is that good kind of dread where you're like, holy shit, and then you go, holy shit. And the only thing that you can really do, I mean, at least for me, the only thing that you can really do as soon as you get there is you're hyper aware of how much these people have done and can do in their craft. And the only thing that I can do is really try and catch up. So
All right.
focus, Chai, focus. You know, you represent your people, you cannot embarrass anybody from home. You know, yeah, it's just that kind of thing.
And I have one more question. I'm so sorry if I'm hogging the mic. How did you feel when you found out that you were given the part?
It didn't really sink in as fast as I thought it would. It was like a part of me was kind of, I think, in denial for a while. If I remember correctly, I was like, yeah, because I was really just thinking this was a role that was maybe part of a supporting cast. Like there were other supporting roles, and I'm just one of them. You know, and I'm like, we were in a meeting, they were describing the role to me. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And I guess I don't know, but I vaguely remember like some of them were kind of maybe expecting like a bigger reaction from me. I don't know, and maybe wondering why is she just going yes? And then I read the entire script, and then that's when I realized, holy fuck, this is big. And then I tell my friend who was helping me out the entire time about just putting Diana together, and hey, I want you to read the script if you're gonna help me out with my character. And then he goes, holy Lord, this is big. Same reaction. And we sat there on Zoom because he was in Iligan during that time. We were just, Zooming really. We were just, on video call. And we just sat there. This was away enough from what you've seen. This was just my Lens and me. It was just one of my best friends and me. Sitting there going, Lens. And he's going, Chai. Yeah. It's, no, yeah. And then he goes, yes. Yes, Di, yes. Okay. And then, then, oh my God, and then And then, let's go get beer. Okay, 5 minutes, and then don't hang up. So I went to get beer, and he went to get his own beer. We came back and like, cheers! And then we sat down, and then we're like, okay, now what? What's gonna happen now? It's just this huge fog of like I didn't know was gonna happen, but you know we forged on, and this is what happened eventually. I hope you liked it.
Thank you so much.
We have another question here, and then later on.
Basin from Philstar Live. I just wanted to get into the theme with the movie. What was the thought process behind including themes related to the Kentex incident, and even the song at the end? No, I'm pretty sure it's really about that incident. So, what was the thought process about including that?
Directors. I think I remember Lorcan talking about. Lorcan talking about Garrett Shanley, the writer, and Lorcan Finnegan, the director. I hope I'm remembering this right. He said something about they were discussing placebos and nocebos, and then I don't know how it got to consumerism and stuff. There was a thought process in there that only the director can answer. Unfortunately, he's not here. But it started out with placebos and nocebos now, and then they were. Okay, no, I'm sorry. I tried. I do not remember.
Hi Chai, congratulations. I'm Bix from Bix Vaz. My question is, what did you learn from your fellow actors and from this experience?
Oh, what did I learn? Nothing. No, I'm kidding. But what did I learn? Actually, a lot of what I learned was focused on industry stuff. Because I was most appreciative about how, the state of their film and TV industry there, where their workers had unions. Workers get overtime pay. They have when the production says, "Oh, we're shooting for 10 hours." That's it. It's 10 hours flat, no extensions. If they ever extend, they get paid extra for that stuff. And it's a great environment to work in when your basic needs and your basic rights are met as a worker. There's a long way to go here in the Philippines for that. There are production houses that try as much as they can, given the circumstances of our industry here. They try as much as they can to treat everybody right, but they can only do so much without government support. So I hope that this government support is on the way. Yeah, as I had just found out today, I have yet to read the House bill. I was told something about it, but I want to reserve my opinions until I, read the entire bill, because we do not want to express ill-informed opinions about things. But anyway, yeah, pretty much that's where my mind usually veers towards.
We have a question.
Actually, I think I can answer that earlier question.
Okay, yeah.
Additional answer, Brad.
This is just me remembering the director, Lorcan Finnegan. I think he was mentioning that he and the writer, Garrett Shelley, right? And they were doing a lot of research on the idea of placebos and nocebos. So placebo is something where someone convinces you, or some process is taken to convince your mind to heal your body. And nocebo is the opposite, something to harm your body. And they started a whole research on it, which led them from, I think, Australia all the way into the Philippines. So even before we met them and them deciding to actually shoot in the Philippines, they actually took like an immersion trip into the Visayas region, into Siquijor.
Siquijor, Cebu.
Yeah, and they went on some crazy like a shamanistic healing journey where they were going around trying every form of healing, and even like asking people, how do you do the more negative kind of stuff. So that's the research that they kind of started on. But if you're talking about like the fire incident, I think what he also wanted to bridge at the time was critiquing the fast fashion industry at that point. And it was, I think, just a little coincidence that the fire incidents happened while they were writing, and they were like, okay, since like, it kind of makes sense that we're committing to the Philippines, and this happened in the Philippines, and it should be something we. I don't think they're addressing it like saying that that is the incident. It's more like inspired.
It so happened that they were.
Yeah.
And it was actually Lorcan, the director, who found the song and chose the song for the film by the general strike.
Okay.
Hello, I am Elaine from Sinigang.ph. So, hi Chai, I just want to say that you really bodied your role in the film.
Thank you.
Such mother behavior, like literally. Anyways, I just want to ask, since this is a a psychological thriller horror, and most actors prepare for this type of genre, insane stuff. Like, how did you prepare for this role?
It was interesting because I didn't prepare for it alone. There was a lot of back and forth between Lorcan and me. There was a lot of back and forth even between the production design team and Lorcan and me about the props. I think I told some of you about it earlier. The props, for those who don't know, the props outside are the actual props that we used for Diana in the film, and they were sourced in places like Quiapo, which means these are actual items that practitioners use, which also meant that we had to consult a spiritualist or a shaman, a local shaman, about how to handle these things, because you're not going to lose anything if you take extra precaution. So we had very specific instructions about certain items. For example, there's one medallion which, thank God, isn't there, because I'm scared of that damn shit. There was a medallion, I think, that came when they bought it. It came with a chant. And I was looking at it, and then she said, okay, be careful about that, do not read it out loud. I'm like, holy fuck. And what if nobody told me that, and I just read it out loud, like, and then poof, end of the world. I don't know. There was another item where that we were instructed specifically not to bring along with us if we were going to pass by a cemetery. Wag daw idadaan sa cemetery. So the production design team in Ireland said, okay, let us check the routes really quick. We're checking the routes from unit base to the locations that we were shooting in. And they said, okay, so we have checked. There are no cemeteries in any of the routes that we're taking. All right, great. Another very specific instruction was if we were going to use it in a scene, I have to either, ako yung magligpit. I have to put it away myself, or I have to be present while they're putting it away. The reason behind it now is that if, for whatever twist of fate, something gets opened. The act of me being present there and being, the act of me being present and putting things away myself is an act of closing the whatever it was that we might have accidentally opened. I don't know how these things work. I do not have special powers, and I am in real life. I am a scaredy cat. I will not go into a dark alley alone. I watched The Ring one time, and it took me 3 days before I went home because I needed to stay with my classmate in her boarding house because I was scared to sleep alone. And it's so weird that I'm in a psycho thriller right now. The scaredy cat that I am. So yeah, that amount of preparation helped a lot. It also helped a lot that both Lorcan and Garrett experienced the ritual themselves, and it wasn't just when they sent me their videos. It wasn't just a video we plucked from YouTube, done by somebody else we don't know. It's them, actually, that I'm seeing who do all of these things, and we talked about their experience, what they learned about those rituals, etc. And then, of course, putting together Diana's background. Has she finished college? Has she not finished college? Of course not. What is her socio-economic background? how does her community treat her? How did that affect her growing up? You know, and then we form an actual person, and I guess that's why it was fun doing this character work, because there was so much research going on. There were rehearsals. Oh my God, there were rehearsals. Here in the Philippines, we don't get a lot of rehearsals for the films. Just salang ka diretso eh. Goodbye, you know. Good luck! Ganon, diretso ka. But, oh my God, camera. You know, it's so weird. It's sad, but you know, it also proves, I guess, that we're very talented people here in the Philippines, because despite not having rehearsals, we're able to pull it off. That is not an excuse, though, to not give people rehearsals. That is why we rehearse in theater, right? But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. Anyway, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you perfectly answered. I really love your answer. So it's very interesting. So just one more question. So since the film tackled about the the bad side of fast fashion that we don't really see in the media, what are your thoughts about it? Like, yeah, what are your thoughts? Sorry.
What are my thoughts specifically about
fast fashion?
fast fashion?
Yeah, H&M, Shine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a capitalist world. And sometimes, no matter what we do as individuals, we're not going to be able to affect that big a change, you know, in the lives of these very big companies. But what we can do is express our opinions about it. Like, yes, we can't escape it. The very clothes that we are wearing today are probably made in some sweatshop down there, somewhere within the country or outside of the country. You know, thank God this is an ukay, my top. That's why I like ukay and recycling stuff. But I guess, like we always say, art alone will not solve the problems of the world, but it sure can help if we tell stories that concern us and our rights, that concern us and the welfare of our people, or the welfare of those who are oppressed, who are underprivileged, for example. Or just telling stories, period. Because again, like I always say, the more stories we tell about ourselves, the more we are able to collectively introspect about who we are. Art is introspection. So when we experience art collectively as a shared experience, then we also collectively introspect about who we are as a people, who we are culturally, who our neighbors are in this big barangay we call the Philippines, and what diversity actually means, for example. You know, the more stories we tell about each other or about ourselves to the world, the more we break stereotypes about ourselves, because then they understand who we are much better. I'm veering away from fast fashion now, but I'm just to bring the point home, Bana. Again, we may not be able to escape the ills of that side of capitalism, but we sure can keep talking about it and keep telling stories about it. And at some point, just keep that discussion alive until we're able to find solutions for it.
Hi, Chai. I'm Glenn from Creeps Silog. Filipino folklore is very central to the story, and I'm sure Filipino audiences will enjoy seeing that. My question is, was there a part of it that resonates with you on a personal level, or something that you relate to, or do you have experiences involving Filipino folklore?
I think we all have experienced a ritual or two, growing up especially. And this is a story I keep repeating because it's a perfect example. When you were kids and then you get sick, bigyan ka ni mama ng paracetamol, di ba? Oh. Pero, tawagin din niya yung manghihilot or yung mananambal, yung ano ba yan sa Tagalog, mananambal?
Manghihilot.
Oh, yung manghihilot. Healer ba? Mananambal. Oh, ngayon, magkatawas, diba? So we all have that kind of experience. Albularyo, oh yeah. And your mom does that, or your tita or your tito or your dad, I don't know which elder called that person up. Because they just want to know, they want to make sure that it was not the windy from the mango tree that did this to you, that made you sick, you know? And at least they will, okay, so it's not the windy, so I'm sure the paracetamol will now work. You know, that kind of thing. It also has a lot to do with, not everybody has access to healthcare. Right? So we go to the local mangihilot, and a lot of us Filipinos, because let's admit it, our healthcare here is, to safely say, shit, you know? So, yeah, it's a cost, it's an attempt at being cost effective for our families and us. But at the same time, these are pagan practices that been passed down to us from mga ninuno pa natin. So culturally, this is really very part of who we are as a people. A lot of it has been erased because of colonialism. When the Spaniards came, erased all of our history back then in 1521 when Magellan discovered the Philippines, right? And and then a lot of it's forgotten. We didn't have written records about it. But these bits and pieces of practices that have persisted, I'm glad that they do. I'm not sure if I believe in these rituals myself, but I'm glad that they've persisted, because this is proof of, the persistence of our identity as a people, even before somebody else came to kind of start wrecking things, I guess. Before the subjugation of our people by a foreign power happened, something like this persisted and says, okay, this is a piece of my past. This is my lulu, my lula, and the lulu, my lulu. And it's beautiful, really. So that's how much. If you're asking about how much this resonated with me, oh yes, it resonates very deeply all the way to my ancestors. Even my ancestors can hear me now. That kind of thing. Hope I answered your question.
Another question from Ms. Tessa Mauricio Arreola.
Hi, Chai, congratulations.
Hi, thank
I'm
you.
Tessa from the Manila Times. It's great to see you on screen with those big actors there, and you really held your own. We're very, very proud of you. Of course, we'd like everyone to see NOCEBO come January 18, but obviously today we saw Dolly at the Golden Globes, and she did us proud there. Of course,
Definitely.
yes, different genres, but still depicting Filipinos, as she was a cleaner of a big yes, over there, and then this time, you were able to get there as a domestic helper, and it's it talks about a part of the lives of Filipinos, yes, and very much so. But I wonder, them having seen the caliber of acting of Dolly, and then you now with such great reviews in New York, when do you think we will see Filipino actors being included in movies abroad as actors, not necessarily a Filipino, domestic helper or a cleaner? Are you getting into that? Are you auditioning? Will we see that very soon?
I hope so, because my future project is really hire me. Please hire me, people.
Yes.
Because I do not have a project right now, except for a series that I'm very proud to be part of in GMA. I love that I'm part of it, and it's making people buy books. Amazing. But how is it gonna be like is there? I really can't tell. I am nothing but hopeful. I hope that it's just no way but up from here.
Okay. Has it
Onwards.
opened doors though? NOCEBO?
Has it opened doors? I do not. I'm not feeling it yet. That's why I'm saying hire me.
Yes.
I can clean the bathroom on screen. I can I
can
can
be-
angry, I can sniper if you want.
Yes,
I
you can be
can
so many things.
do,
and we
I
look
can do
forward-
all of that. Just make sure it's good for my niece.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Well, we do hope that you carry on, please, and maybe
Thank you.
audition more and more, and maybe we'll see you maybe an executive in
Yeah.
a skyscraper in New York
Yeah.
instead, or
Thank you.
in a castle in England or Ireland.
A princess in the castle in the sky.
Exactly.
you know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sige, I think we have a few more questions here. Okay. Alan Policarpio from Inquirer.
Hi.
Hello, hi.
Good evening, Chai. I just want to know about your rapport with Evergreen. So, how did that come about? Was that something you really worked on, or was it like an instant thing?
Okay, so it's acting pretty strange sometimes because a lot of people think that you have to hang out with your co-actors first before you have that kind of rapport. But actually, it happens in many different ways. When chemistry on screen doesn't necessarily translate to like a tight friendship outside of the screen. Not for anything, but because you just maybe live far away or you have different lives and all of that stuff. But while you were working was good. With Ava, she's a very shy person, and I can be, and as talkative as I am, I can be also very introverted, especially for people that I admire very much. Everybody is there. I'm so sorry. I am not here. I'm not feeling of it. But when we started working, because we both came in understanding who our characters are, it was a wonderful experience to kind of, there's a bit of shyness towards each other in the beginning. But when we're on set, because we both came in knowing who we are as our characters, I felt like I could trust her in the scene so that we can both carry the scene together. Like I had absolutely no doubt that I could lean on her, as an actor during our scene work. And the one thing that I was hoping for was that she could do that with me as well, that she could lean on me. And then that started happening, and Lorcan was becoming very happy. And I'm like, yes, I'm doing my job. They paid me for this, I should do my job. And then eventually we get into conversations like off screen. She's really shy, but she's really nice as a person. She's very generous with her, advice, especially when I'm asking about industry advice. 30%, I know 10%, don't give them more of your money, all of those stuff. One thing that she did, it was very sweet, was this was a time during the pandemic when there were no vaccines yet, and you had to quarantine yourself whenever you traveled to a new country. So I was quarantined for about 7 days-ish, I think. And then one of the production assistants dropped by at the apartment where they parked my ass. And they put me in, where they housed me. And he says, okay, I have a package for you. And I'm like, what is that? And it's from Ava. But at this point, I had not yet talked to her personally, not even on Zoom. So I was very, oh my God, I have a package from Ava. So, and it was in the evening, so of course it was kind of morning or afternoon here in the Philippines, right? So I take it inside. There's a note that says something like, I'm looking forward to work with you. Welcome to Ireland. Thank you. Welcome to the project. I did, and I was really sweet. And inside was a votive candle and a bottle of wine. I called up my friends here in the Philippines, and I go, look where this is from. They said, why? Who gave that? I'm opening it right now. If I can give me this wine, go. Just drank with my friends for the next maybe 2 hours. I saved some of the wine for next day, of course. But I was very happy that happened. And then, but generally that was but you can see how sweet she is as a co-actor, regardless of how shy she is. And how shy she is off cam. Well, she's kind of introverted, but when she goes on cam, she can take over the entire room, and you have no choice but to watch. You know, that's how, I guess, how powerful her presence is. She can command the attention of people in a room at will, and she can disappear if she wants to. You know, just remain very small. You won't even notice she's there. You know, that kind of thing. So it's amazing to see somebody, you know, command energy like that. So when I grow up, I want to be an Ibagreen.
And you mentioned kanina na she gave you a lot of advice. Anything that stood out?
10%, not 30.
Ayun na.
10%, Chai, not 30. Don't give them more of your money.
Alright. And lastly na lang kasi when we ask, you know, actors who bag roles in international projects, they also feel like there's pressure that they're representing the Philippines, and I wonder if it's the same way with you, or you're just like, I'm just gonna do this job and whatever happens, happens.
I think I'm more of the whatever happens, happens. I'm more like a, you know, my friend and I from Cebu always had this joke, you know, life's a beach if you know how to live like a pirate. So, yeah, it's like for example, I didn't ever think I'd land in film. I thought, at first, after college, I thought I was going to be a documentary filmmaker. I had those kinds of dreams before because I liked the Probe Team, you know. Like watching the Probe Team, like seeing Maria Ressa and CNN. So when I met her for the first time, I was fangirling and shit, and I embarrassed myself. But, you know, and then after that, I was in music. I always thought I was going to be a musician. I thought, you know, well, I was in theater already, but I always thought that was going to be something on the side because, you know, our parents have told us walang pera sa art, ganyan. So I also kind of, you know, all right, sure, fine. I'm going to get a day job. I'm going to do my art on the side. And then I landed in film, you know, and I'm like, I was supposed to go that way, but it seems my boat is going this way. I'm like, okay, let's go this way then. So it's kind of been like that pretty much my life. So when people ask me about, so are you pressured about, you know, representing the Philippines and etc., I'm like, no, not really, because the future of Philippine cinema does not rest on my shoulders. No. I actually am maybe at the bottom of the food chain, if you come to think of it. We're the ones that are maybe hired last in all of the hiring process because you have to form this huge team that's putting all of the story together. I think the future of Philippine cinema is collectively on the shoulders of the film and the film community. I think sabay-sabay namin siyang pinubuhat. It's not just me, really. So I find it weird when people go, so you feel pressure representing the Philippines. And no, because there's a whole community of us representing the Philippines right now. Yeah, it's a whole lot of us who are behind all of this effort to put our stories out. Even if we are actors hired for like a foreign film and there are no Filipino crew there, for example, still the skills that we gain as actors are because of a community that have helped develop what we can do. A community of workers and fellow actors and directors and writers who have honed and shaped the present skill sets that we have that allow us to be hired in other foreign films. So it's community effort siya. Yeah. Do I feel pressure? No, kasi meron akong kasama.
Okay, one last question.
Yes, hi. This is Florencio from Man of Life. My last question is, first, is this your first thriller film? And also, you mentioned that you are kind of scared doing the rituals or handling the items. So, how do you muster the courage, and how are you careful in doing those rituals when you're shooting the film?
Ano ka? Dasal lang, ma'am. Dasal lang. Dasal lang talaga. Dasal lang. No, it helped that we had a very informative consultation with the local shaman, si Kuya Bong, that we had on board for the film. You know, so at least when as soon as we got there, you know, I already had the instructions, I already knew what to do, so I was less scared about it now. Just thinking about it, those two items, you know, with the thing. I don't want to see them ever again, but during during the filming, it was much easier because we had that, you know, we had that advice from an expert. Another thing that and it's funny, which made the scenes a little more challenging to do for me because I had to act like I was chanting, right? And just to make sure that I am not accidentally opening any sort of portal in there, you know, any you know, I'm not letting any fairies out or, I don't know, baka sumakay sa aeroplano, sundan ako sa bahay. Di ba? Whenever I had to chant, and this was hard because I would end up laughing inside my head. I would chant, Lorem ipsum dolor sit just to make sure we're not opening anything. I mean, that we all know that that's a placeholder for you know, editing stuff. And that Latin is, if you ask Latin experts, that's not real Latin. That's just gibberish. It doesn't mean anything. So I'm like, all right, this is the perfect placeholder for the chants. It's also like a verbal placeholder, keeping the damn ghosts at bay. You know, so Lorem ipsum dolor, and then the ghosts go, what the fuck is that? Don't listen to her. It's not making any sense. Let's go back to hell where we came from. You know, at least there's that sort of comedy does help with, you know, defending yourself. Comedy is like it's so ninja, you know. It's a very non-violent way of defending yourself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone. Before we leave, quick.